I also went to China and learned a good deal in China about how to deal with this kind of thing, because here in the Western world these things are seen as mental illness, and over there in the Eastern world it's seen as a gift. And so they've been working with these types of energies and with extrasensory people for so many years that they have developed ways to teach people how to cope with and utilize these abilities. So I learned a great deal when I was over there visiting.
Wow. Would you be interested in sharing any of those experiences in China?
Yeah, for example, well, they can teach you how to deliberately move energies. And so when I went over there, my favorite story to tell about that is that an extrasensory typically is being overloaded with information constantly, and so we tend to withdraw and want to wear hoods all the time and not want to be around great big crowds of people, and we get overwhelmed and sick all the time because we don't actually know what to do with the energy coming into us. And so we developed this idea in the Western world that empaths and people who have extrasensory abilities need to protect themselves. Mm-hmm. But it's entirely the opposite of what is correct and what the Eastern world teaches, which is that you should learn how to absorb all of it and then transmute that energy. But that's not something that occurs to us because we are sort of limited in the third-dimensional idea that if you've got 100 people, the consciousness of the 100 people will overwhelm the consciousness of the one. But that is not truth. So when I was over there, I was taught how to pull in energy from crowds of people. The master that I was studying over there with, Master Wan, actually took me to a train station and made me stand in the middle of the square as this train moved in, and hundreds, thousands even, of people came flooding off of this train. And instead of doing what I usually do, which is to run the other way and kind of protect myself, he made me stand there and then breathe in all of their energies. Wow. And then send the energy down out my feet. And it was the first time I realized that I could do something with it. So I wasn't a victim to it. I could do anything I wanted and absorb unlimited amounts of this energy, and it would have no negative effect on me because I was consciously transforming that from a negative emotional or vibrational thing into whatever I wanted to transform it into. It's just not something that ever occurred to me before I went there.
Wow, that's something really important for all of us to hear, because I know that many of us are sensitives, empaths, intuitive, and have elements of these higher senses that are natural and developable within us. I used to always wonder why I couldn't walk through walls and why I couldn't fly, you know. And I know that somewhere along the line I got programmed to believe that I couldn't, and that kind of got stuck there. So I've tried a few times, but my nose gets sore when I bump it against the wall. So what are some of the other techniques that you've used and learned that might be helpful for those of us who are, A, wanting to develop those abilities, and B, those who are trying to discover why they're crazy and they don't know how to channel them?
I think the best technique I learned is to stop caring what other people tell you about these abilities and sit down and just, in the beginning, it's like, well, I'm going to try this just in case it works kind of thing. And instead of basically running away or having mixed energies about receiving that information, you turn in the opposite direction, facing them completely, and just stop caring, basically, for a minute about whether the information you're receiving is true or not true, because that's the problem. We've got this addiction to the idea of truth. And just write down anything you perceive. So my favorite way to do this is to tell people to keep like a journal and to write down any psychic impressions they have throughout the day. Just write it down and then close the book. Don't even think about it. Close the book and then put the book away. And then, like a month later, go open the book again and see how accurate your perception is. Mm-hmm. Because we usually will get these impressions, these psychic impressions basically, and then we tend to negate them or argue with them or doubt ourselves. Now, if we can just stop doing that for a minute, write these things down as if we're not attached to whether they're true or not, and then come back later, you will have incredible confirmation about just how intuitive you are. And that will go a long way in terms of developing the abilities.